Antonio Donghi was the leading neoclassical Italian painter. He was widely honored and won several awards for his art, including first honorable mention at the Carnegie Institute International Exhibition in Pittsburgh. Donghi's work are in prestigious collections and galleries, such as the Pesaro International Gallery of Modern Art. Antonio Donghi was known for painting everyday life scenes, still lifes, and landscapes. Donghi's works contained figures in various indoor and outdoor settings, showcasing proper detailing and magical realism. Donghi favored using linear patterns, light, texture, space, and material to achieve a realistic image. Antonio Donghi was born on March 16, 1897, in Rome. At the age of 19, he obtained his license at the Royal Institute of Fine Arts in Rome and continued his studies only after the First World War. He made his debut in the early 20s, and in 1923 he participated for the first time in the Second Biennial of Rome when the exhibition of his work entitled Nude of Woman. He held his first solo exhibitions in Rome the following year, 1924. And in December of that same year, he participated in the group exhibition Venti Artisti Italiani, curated by Ugo Ohetti and featuring works by Casorati, De Chirico, Guidi, Opie, Tozzi, and Trombadori, among others, at the Galleria Pesaro in Milan. Soon, Donghi began to be considered as one of the major exponents of the trend of magic realism, and it was later to be defined by the German critic Franz Roh, and his language became increasingly international. From the beginning, with the exhibition within the exhibition dedicated to the new objectivity in Mannheim in 1925, he arrived in the United States the following year with an itinerant group show that counted the presence of 10 works by the artist. The second half of the 1920s saw him still active in exhibitions and shows both in Europe and in the United States, including the 1927 New York Solo Show and his participation in the Venice International Art Biennale in 1928. The 1930s were undoubtedly the most intense period of work for Donghi's career, but also the most successful. It is, in fact, in this decade that we remember the first and important acquisitions of works signed by the artist from large public collections. In 1930, the Modern Art Gallery of Palazzo Pitti bought the painting Woman at the Window, while in 1931, on the occasion of his participation in the first quadriennale in Rome, there were several works purchased from as many public collections. In 1932, 2 of the 8 works exhibited at the Venice Biennale were purchased by the Musea di Pesaro, Donna al Cafe, and the Museo Civico di Genova, the Giovanetta, while the following year the Galleria Nazionale di Arte Moderna in Rome purchased the work entitled Figura di Donna. During the years of the Second World War, it is worth mentioning the participation in the Fourth Roman Quadriennale in 1943 and the personal exhibition held at the Gallery La Finestra in Rome in 1945. At the end of the World War, Donghi seems to remain, perhaps cautiously or perhaps obstinately, anchored to what were the personal developments of his own artistic formulation, disinterested in the reflections that the international artistic community put to itself, especially the fierce struggle between abstraction and figuration. Despite this detachment, his participation in the famous 20th century Italian art exhibition at the Museum of Modern Art in New York, held in September 1949, is a further important recognition of his artistic production, where he had the opportunity to exhibit one of his most important achievements, Skylark Hunt of 1942. The 50s saw him mainly involved in the production of landscapes, a genre he had already approached with dedication in the 30s, and which he rediscovered with renewed emphasis in his last decade of life, especially during his stays in Upper Lazio, Tuscany, and on the Ligurian coast near La Spezia. To these years can be traced his last participations at the Venice Biennale in 1952 and 1954, and at the Quadriennale in Rome in 1951, 1955, and 1959. In his last years, he concentrated mainly on landscapes, painted in a style that emphasizes linear patterns. Donghi had veered off the high road, which by that time was leading toward expressionism and the more alarmingly, for Donghi, abstract expressionism. He died in Rome in 1963 at the age of 66. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel by selecting the subscribe button below. Please give us a thumbs up, and also please feel free to share the video on your preferred social media service. We are super excited about you watching our videos and look forward to your continued support. It means the world to us. See you in the following videos.